Listen everyone, before you click off, before you get offended, let me say this really slow. This video is not for everybody. This is for the people who feel stuck but don't want to admit the reason. This is 10 brutal truths that I've observed people learn when it's too late. Yeah, I'm talking to you. You're not unlucky, you're not misunderstood, you're not almost there. You've just been lying to yourself really politely. And life doesn't argue. Life just waits and then it collects. Look, I'm about to tell you some things that people don't learn until the divorce, the debt, the doctor's visit, or the regret that comes on a random afternoon. If this makes you feel uncomfortable, good. That means it's working. Now, I'm not your pastor, I'm not your therapist, I'm not your motivational speaker, but I am the voice that you hear when everybody else is lying to you. And don't worry, I'm not here to judge you, but I am indicting you. So, let's go. Truth number one, nobody is coming to save you. Let's just get this out of the way. Nobody is coming. Not your parents, not your boss, not the government, and not your support system. Now listen, you keep waiting like somebody owes you a breakthrough. Time doesn't owe you anything. You're grown, you're breathing, that's the deal. And the crazy part, you know this already, but you keep saying stuff like, I just need an opportunity, or if they would just notice me, or once I feel confident. Look, confidence comes after action, not before. And the system loves hopeful people because hopeful people don't move, they just wait. But waiting keeps you broke, quiet, and manageable. And that's the trap. Hey, if this is already pissing you off, don't leave, sit in it. The irritation that you're feeling right now, that's the truth rubbing against your ego. Here's number two, comfort makes you weak. You're not tired, you're just comfortable. And comfort got you fat, distracted, and emotional. You get food whenever you want, entertainment whenever you're bored, and validation whenever you are sad. So now when something requires a little bit of discipline, you call that burnout. Listen, your ancestors survived famine, so you're more than capable of surviving boredom. But you see, comfort is sneaky. Comfort doesn't destroy your life fast, it destroys it slowly. Netflix years, scroll years, next year years, and then one day you wake up old, mad, and confused. As if you just got jumped by life. Like, nah, you laid down and let it happen. Here's number three, being nice will cost you everything. Let's talk about this one, because this one will hurt a lot of people's feelings. You're not a good person. You're just scared to say no. You don't speak up, you don't set boundaries, and you don't walk away early. You let a lot of stuff slide and then complain about it later. That's not kindness, that's cowardice with manners. And the world knows it. People don't respect nice, they respect being clear. You might not know this, but you teach people how to treat you every single day. And you're subconsciously teaching them that you don't matter. Here's the thing, the system loves agreeable people because agreeable people don't negotiate, they comply. That's why you're tired. Here's number four, most advice is designed to keep you average. Now, let me say this plainly. Most advice that you hear is trash. Follow your passion. Passion doesn't pay the bills. Just be yourself. If yourself is broke, that is very bad advice. And this is the other one. Everything happens for a reason. Like, no, sometimes you just didn't prepare enough. Here's something you likely haven't heard before. Advice is not about truth. It's about comfort. People often give advice that won't get them argued with, not advice that actually works. Look, results require offense. Results require risk. Results require you being misunderstood for a while. And unfortunately, the system doesn't want that from you. The system instead wants you to be calm, entertained, and predictable. Look, if you ever followed advice that felt good but did nothing, you already know that I'm right. Number five, time is not on your side. It's watching you. Look, you keep saying, I got time. Nah, what you got is now, because as time progresses, your energy drops, your responsibilities rise, and your options start to shrink. Youth is not an age. Youth is a margin. This means margin to mess up, margin to be broke, and then bounce back, and then margin to start over. And once that margin is gone, everything starts to cost more. Regret does not scream. It whispers. It whispers things like, hey, you should have tried. You knew better. Or you waited too long. And nobody can hear that but you. Hey, type this in the comments if you're still breathing and listening. I'm not learning this late. Say it with your chest. This is not for me, this is really for you. Now, number 6, you don't actually want it. You just want the credit. Let me expose something real quick. You don't want success. What you instead want is recognition. You don't want to do the work, you just want the story because you love the idea of being disciplined, being respected, or being that guy or that girl. But you hate the lifestyle that comes with it. You love motivational videos, but you hate routines. You love results, but you hate repetition. So you disguise ambition. You talk about goals that you're not building towards. You plan things that you're not executing. And the system really loves that because people who chase image don't threaten power. Now, here's an ugly truth. If nobody could see it, most of y'all wouldn't be doing it. So sit with that. Number 7, you confuse information with progress. Look, you are not stuck. You're just over-informed and under-executed. Podcasts, books, Reddit threads, videos, you're consuming all of that as if it counts for movement, but it doesn't. Look, learning feels productive because it doesn't risk rejection, but execution does. So you keep preparing over and over again. But listen, preparation is really procrastination when it's paired with no action. Because the system loves educated but inactive people. They're smart enough to comply, but not brave enough to disrupt. And that's why you feel busy but broke. Look, if you're learning more than you're earning, this part is about you. Just don't argue, just adjust. Number 8, most of your friends are a liability. Now, this one is gonna cost you some relationships. Everybody around you is not rooting for you. Some people like you dependent. Some people like you predictable. And some people like you exactly where you're at right now. Here's why. Because if you change, that means they have to confront themselves. So they joke when you get serious, they doubt when you start to commit, and they support you just enough not to feel guilty. And you let it slide because loneliness is scary. But here's a reversal. Being alone temporarily is way cheaper than being surrounded permanently by people who cap your growth. The system benefits when peer pressure keeps you average. That's why they normalize stagnation as quote unquote loyalty. Here's number 9. You're not broken, you're just undisciplined. So stop diagnosing yourself. You're not traumatized every time something gets hard. You're not depressed every time you lack direction. And you're not burnt out every time discipline is required for some specific action. Sometimes, not all the times, you just need structure. But structure doesn't feel compassionate, so a lot of people just avoid it. The system loves labeling normal struggle like it's some new condition because it gives you an excuse that sounds intellectual. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Most lives don't fall apart from tragedy. They fall apart from inconsistency. And you don't need healing before action. Action is that healing that you're looking for. Number 10, if you don't build a code, life will hand you one. Now, this one is the deepest one, at least in my eyes. If you don't decide what you stand for, the world will decide it for you. Your job will, your habits will, your fears will. You'll wake up one day living by rules that you never chose, like the work that you tolerate, the relationships that you resent, and the standards that you set. And then you end up calling that a reality. But no, that's just default living. You see, the system survives on people with no code because people with no code bend easily. But when you decide what you accept, what you refuse, and what you pursue no matter what, life starts to get a lot more clear. Now, it will be harder, but a lot more clear. And clarity is dangerous to systems built on confusion. So if at least one of these truths made you uncomfortable, don't scroll. That discomfort is a receipt. It proves this wasn't entertainment. It was actually a warning. And hey, I didn't tell you this to motivate you because motivation fades. I told you this so that you can't say nobody warned you. What you do next decides everything. Not your intentions, not your feelings, but your actions. And look, don't comment nothing inspirational. Comment this instead. I'm done negotiating with myself. Or don't, I really don't care. But remember, life doesn't punish you for failing. It punishes you for pretending that you tried. I said what I said. Thanks for watching.